Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Denver Sports Coffee Break presented by Bath Fitter. Happy Monday. I woke up thinking that it was Sunday, so you can anticipate how excited I am to be hanging out with these two. We got James Merrill and D-Mac with you. Gentlemen, how was your weekend? How is everybody in the comments, too? We obviously love to hear it. D-Mac, you start.
No. You start, Rachel. Why in the world did you think today was Sunday?
I don't know. I just woke up and I was laying in bed. I was fully prepared to lay there for another hour and a half, and then I realized, oh, it's Monday. I have to actually get up and get my computer and get rolling for the show
because
today.
on Friday night, I was hanging out with you and Jake Shapiro at that amazing Nuggets game.
Yep.
And then we all were trying to hang out with John Morant in his private after-hours club party in Denver. Oh, man, I'm so sorry I missed that one. So you wake up Saturday. So what day is Saturday? What did you do on Saturday?
Saturday, we cleaned out our garage. We're getting a new car soon, so we were cleaning out the garage and doing that kind of stuff. It was just a very chill day.
All right,
Yesterday was also chill.
So it's clearly a Saturday. Yeah. So then what happened on the Sunday?
Same stuff. I went to church, just kind of hung out, cleaned, walked the dog. And
You wait a minute. To church, which is a very Sunday thing to do.
I know. I was enjoying my weekend too much, okay? Don't come at me for wanting another day to just hang out and relax.
Backing off.
All right, James, how was your weekend?
It was good. I did know it was Monday, so it wasn't as good as yours, apparently. But yeah, when you have things that are normally on Sunday, to not know it's Monday is a little odd. Like when the Broncos play on a weird day during football season, that throws me off. I don't know, necessarily what day of the week it is, or if I go to church on Saturday instead of Sunday, that can throw me off. But yeah, Rachel, I'm not sure about this one. Sounds like you just wanted 3 days of hanging out with your feet up.
Okay, so when you take a nap and you wake up and you're like, wait a second, what time is it? What day is it? What universe am I in? It was that 30 seconds when I first woke up that I was like, oh, I can stay here for a little bit longer. That's what I'm talking. It wasn't like I was 2 hours into waking up and I was like, okay, oh yeah, it's Monday. It was those first 30 seconds,
Well, my son turned 23 on Saturday. Talk about feeling old. Holy cow. And check this out. Proud dad moment. He bought his first car on his birthday. Just bought a car.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I can't
What kind of car?
What's that?
What kind of car?
I don't know. He bought a used car, but it's a nice car. It's a nice used car, so, it is a trip when your kids just start paying for everything themselves, know, and it's like, do you need some help? And we might have thrown him a couple of bucks for some birthday cash for the car, but so that was Saturday, and then he didn't want to see us. Sad face. But I tell you, hey, let me tell you this. With social media, even if kids want to make excuses why they don't want to see you, you find out what they were doing, and it's like, oh, he clearly didn't want to see us and clearly wanted to see these people. I mean, that was made abundantly clear on his birthday.
I had the different version of kid's birthday this weekend. So my youngest will turn 11 later in March, but it's during spring break. So he had his birthday party on Saturday.
Oh.
We had 9 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds spend the night. Chaos. Whoa. Absolute chaos.
So yeah. James was ready for it to be Monday because he didn't want to wait up that night again.
Yes. Great kids. They're all awesome. They had all these activities. They had the slam dunk contest out in the driveway with the mini tramp. It was all organized and put together. But yeah, it was chaos. And I'll just put it this way. I've had the windows in the basement open all Sunday trying to fumigate it a bit.
What time did they go to bed?
Oh,
2:30.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. They don't they don't ever go to bed. And it's so cute, James, when they're 10, 11 years old. And then they become 16 and 17 and just start having sex with each other down there.
So, all right, on that note, let's move on to Derek Carr. Derek Carr.
Well, all right.
You never know what you're going to get out of D.
I tell you the truth. Those sleepovers take on a different tone.
Yes, they do. I'm sure they do.
And James is looking forward to it as he's got younger kids. So let's move on, though. Derek Carr and the Saints. The deal's not 100% done, but it does look like Derek Carr is expected to sign with the Saints. So what does this mean for the Denver Broncos? Obviously, that means some people from the Saints are going to get released. Is there anybody that Sean Payton will already know that they could bring in? What do you guys like about this deal possibly getting done, James?
Well, I'll tell you what this tells me, right? Everybody who's been saying, oh, the Broncos, it's not a good, attractive job. They don't have any draft capital for 1 year. And, oh, they got cap issues. They got the 12th most cap space in the league. The Saints, meanwhile, are in cap purgatory, yet somehow they're able to sign a quarterback who his last deal was a $100 million deal. Like, you can get done whatever you want to get done. That's the first thing that I took from this. And then, do you end up seeing some players hit the free agent market that maybe we wouldn't thought of? A Michael Thomas, somebody like that, maybe. But that's my main takeaway: is don't let any of these Dove Valley minions tell you, oh, the Broncos couldn't get it done. They just have cap issues. That's a bunch of balderdash. They could go get anybody they want to in free agency. They can figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you can get anybody. You just got to be able to move on if you want to move on. But I agree with James, too. And the issue that I've been told over and over and over throughout the years by my good friend Mike Kliss, it's not about the cap, it's about cash. Because a lot of times when you do these deals, you have to pay up front. So it doesn't kill you on the cap, but do your owners actually have the money to write those checks right now? So this should be a huge advantage for the Denver Broncos, theoretically. Because they have, as they're flush with cash. As much as we all love Pat Bowlen as an owner, you guys just got to know, until very recently, the Bowlen administration was not cash flush, and they are now. So, if you want to do a deal and get one of these, throwaways by the Saints, man, you can absolutely do it. And the name that runs right to the top of the list is Jameis Winston. And there's a scenario where you could get Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Wouldn't that be something? James, you can have
Oh, my God. Okay, hang on. Timeout. You want him to get both of those guys?
You could.
You understand? Wait a minute. They only play one quarterback at a time. So we're going to, in free agency, go after guys who, if all goes according to plan, will never see the field.
Well, no, more timeout. I'll time out your timeout. Mariota would be a Taysom Hill sort of player. So he would be a combo meal. So that's different. And Jameis Winston would be your Brett Rippon. But so you would actually have three active guys. If you want to call Marcus Mariota something else to make yourself feel better, I mean, go ahead and do it. But Mariota's at that stage of his career. If you don't want it, you don't want it. I mean, I get it. I mean, you're all in with Russell Wilson. And listen, I had somebody point out to me, well, why would you even mess around with wasting money anywhere? Either you ride or die with Russell Wilson. And I'm fine with that, too. Listen, my idea about Mariota and Winston is to win games for the Broncos this year. But if you want to just tell me, hey, man, it's all or nothing with Russ, well, coming from a guy who just wants to cut Russ post June 1st, you don't have to twist my arm on that either.
I just think if you start going through the list of, they don't have a left guard at the moment, they don't have a right tackle, their middle linebackers are Josie Jewell and no one, because they don't have Alex Singleton re-signed.
Jonas Griffin is who they want. But James, you just made a point about saying you can do whatever you want with money. You don't have to worry about it. So
you can.
Like, you don't have this guy and that guy. You just told me that doesn't matter.
You can, but backup quarterback is about 14th on the to-do list. Like, that is a luxury pick. That's like drafting Pat Surtain. That's what that move would be. It's a luxury move. Would you like to have a better backup quarterback? Of course. Brett Rippon, they can't win games with Brett Rippon unless they're playing Colt McCoy and Trace McSorley. I get that. But if everything goes according to plan, that guy is going to play 0 snaps. 0. The fact of the matter is, almost every team in the league, save for the Niners this past year, if their quarterback gets hurt, they're SOL anyway. Right? Like, they just are.
Hey, James, I got it. But you got to pick somebody at some point. And how in the world are you missing the connections that Winston may be a cap casualty and he's got a relationship with Sean Payton? It's not like we're talking about or ranking highest priorities. We're just talking about the here and now. We're talking about a position that doesn't exist, how to fill it, and a guy who's got previous experience with our current head coach. That's it. Nobody's saying it's a more important position than tackle or guard or whatever. It's just like, hey, that's the deal today. And are you going to act on it or not? I mean, I guess you don't want to act on it. But if Russell Wilson gets hurt or something else happens, if we're taking this season seriously, who do you want to go in the game?
Well, we've also talked plenty about how Russ needs a little bit of competition into the mix. And
Absolutely.
Brett Rippon's not going to be that guy. So which one would you rather have if you had to pick just one, James?
Between what and what again? Sorry.
Mariota and Winston.
Oh my gosh, jeez. I don't know.
Is there another QB you would rather just?
Would I rather watch Fast and the Furious 9 or Fast and the Furious 10? Neither. I don't want either. I mean, I guess I would take Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is a better quarterback, but neither one of them. Look, they either are going to have success this year with Russell Wilson, or it's going to be a disaster, and they can draft Caleb Williams next year and move on from him. Like, they're going to have success with him, but a backup quarterback, I mean, we could go through their roster and try and figure out, okay, who's got a big cap number, who might get cut, is it Michael Thomas, is it whatever, and plug in almost anybody who could come in here and help out more than a backup quarterback would.
The key, if they want success with Russell Wilson, they've got to figure out a Taysom Hill sort of guy. So really, my bigger priority is to get Mariota, but not as just purely a backup quarterback, as kind of an X-factor guy for the offense. So me bringing in Mariota isn't to replace Russ, it's to use an addition as they use Taysom Hill. So if you don't like that, all I'm trying to do is help Russ, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. And the success that Sean Payton had with Taysom Hill, you shouldn't ignore it. So that's not even a threat to Russ. That's in addition to him. It's an offensive playmaker, and I think that'll be sort of the biggest difference on the team, aside from Jerry Jeudy having an unbelievable breakout year.
If they want to help Russ, I mean, if you start looking through the Saints, the biggest cap numbers, right? It's Cameron Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, then it's Andres Pete, a guard. He might get cut. Alvin Kamara, a running back. I'm not saying he's gonna, but that's the fourth biggest number. Winston is fifth. Michael Thomas, receiver, hurt all the time. You take a flyer on him, and Ryan Ramczyk, a right tackle. Let's hope it's Pete or Ramczyk. That would be the names you should keep your eye
on. Okay. I mean, sure, and that's rating the Saints. So if we're gonna raid the Saints, listen, to get Ramczyk would be, that would be unbelievable. I mean, it would be stunning to me for the Saints to let him go. I mean, what are they trying to do? A guard? All right, a guard. Yeah, I could see that. Who cares? But you're going to let Ramczyk go? I'll believe that when I see it.
No, yeah, I'm definitely with you. Especially
they're currently $17 million over the cap, and they haven't signed Derek Carr yet. So they're going to have to free up a ton of money, because then they got a rookie class they got to sign. Like, they got some work to do.
Rachel cleaned out her garage. There's going to be a bigger garage sale with the Saints than at Rachel's house. And by the way, was Rachel flexing about getting a new car? Is that
she was?
We kind 100%.
Of 100%.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm finally going to have an SUV for the family. I'm excited about it. What can I say? Anyways, I'll flex a little bit if I want to on this Monday, gentlemen. Let's move on.
Speaking of flexing, did you see the photos of Russell Wilson?
Oh.
Did you see him take his daughter to the daddy-daughter dance?
Oh. So much. Hey, guys, headline. Professional athletes work out, and sometimes in black and white. And dads take their daughters to daddy-daughter dances. So much for being anonymous donors. That whole anonymous donor thing, boy, we have blown right past that. You know, we are into brand management. Brand management, not anonymous donors. So listen, if you want to, all right, just to back up a tad, okay, guys, I actually do have an issue about putting your kids out there in the public spotlight when they should just be kids. I really do. I got an issue with that. Let your kids be kids, and I'm not saying that it's not. I think it's fine for regular people to post photos that they're proud of with their kids doing sports or whatever. But can we back up a little bit and understand that Russell Wilson is just not a regular guy like this? I mean, do you have to use your kids for everything? Seriously? I mean, we're pushing T-shirts and hoodies and we want to, an edited thing about the daddy-daughter dance. I mean, I don't know, man. The whole thing with those two, him and Sierra, and, it's a fashion show every night in their house. It's really, seriously, nothing really has changed. The black and white photos about, lifting.
Yeah, he was jacked.
Now,
That's different. He doesn't look like Chubby Russ anymore.
okay, hey, that's wonderful. And okay, good, cool. There's that. We would have found that out in OTAs in about 6 weeks or so, anyways. But okay, great. It's March and you're lifting weights in black and white photos, and your kids are opening boxes with the 3 brand thing because your kids, I guess, are. I hope they got paid. I hope they paid their kids for being endorsers. The whole thing of making kids, I hate it. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of it, man. I don't know what else to say. Leave kids alone, man. Let kids have their own lives. Just calm down on trying to have your kids sell your merch. I think that's sick, actually.
Okay, before we go on another DMAC rant, I would just like to say from the social media, I don't want to play the age card here, but from the social media world, like, I record most of my life, and that's just because of the opportunities. Like, he has a team that I guarantee is sitting there being like, this can grow your brand so much. Like, social media can change people's lives, and I know he's a football player, he already makes a bunch of money, but like, there's other people that are probably behind the scenes that are telling him to do all of these things. Same with Sierra, too. Like, I mean, social media can just change and drastically do like so much. They were saying from Rihanna's Super Bowl performance, there was more off of the clips that went on TikTok for sales than it was the actual Super Bowl performance. So I don't know. I feel I'm kind of in this awkward place where I get where you're coming from, DMAC, but social media is so prevalent nowadays that like you just got to do it.
I don't think you have to use your kids. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you have to put your kids in front of the camera. I don't think you have to use your kids. I don't think you have to do anything if you make $50 million a year like Russell Wilson does, frankly. I mean, what do you have to do? You have to be a good football player. And are we blind to the problems that caused all the problems last year? Really? Do we not remember what the issues were?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's the offensive coordinator in New York now.
Fine. But where did Jake Heaps and the office and Team 3 come from? I think Team 3 has led Russ down some really, really weird paths, really strange paths. So I'm fine if you want to. I don't know, man. I don't get the dude. I don't get his family. I really don't get any of it. I don't. And Sean Payton did say he wanted anonymous donors. He did say that, right? I did hear that, didn't I? And you know who else was working out over the weekend? Every single one of Russell Wilson's teammates. Every single one of them was working out. I mean, every single one. I mean, there's guys that are up at 24-hour fitness at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day that are dudes that are like running triathlons on the weekends.
But here's the thing, DMAC, where I'm going to give Russ a little bit of a break, is you saw it because it's Russell Wilson. You didn't see Jerry Jeudy, Patrick Surtain, Ronald Darby, etc. posting on
their Instagram stories. You will. You'll see them all, Rachel. You'll see everybody.
Well, and look, I don't know that. I think we're taking Sean Payton's anonymous donor thing a little too far. I don't think he was saying nobody can ever post anything on social media. I think it's the cryptic crap that we get out of Jerry Jeudy and those kind of things that he just wants to see none of that. You can't post a photo of you and your kid on the beach or snorkeling or whatever they were doing. I mean, to me, that would be a little too far. So, it's February or it's March. See, I don't know the month. Rachel doesn't know the day. So at least she's in the right month. It's March. The fact that Russell Wilson looks like he's in better shape, I'm going to take that as a positive. Right. I'm going to take that as a win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly not an accident that he posts that. And there you go. We got some black and white photos of you lifting weights. Congratulations. You're an athlete. Good. I mean, good for him, I guess. Right. Again, though, I mean, if we're talking about moving from the 5th best looking dad to the 2nd best looking dad at the drop-off line at Campus Middle School, because I assume the kids go to Cherry Creek based on where he lives. Okay. Oh, maybe they go to East. I don't know. Cherry Creek School District, one way or the other. If you want to be that guy, fine. But you still have to play amongst the Avengers, man. And, I mean, Russell Wilson working out. Okay. Great, awesome.
Yeah, but we can't get all over the Paxton Lynches of the world when they don't do anything, and then also not be satisfied when Russell Wilson is doing that stuff. Like, we gotta be a little bit fair, right? Otherwise, we're just those people that are never happy.
James, I'm thrilled that a professional athlete making $50 million a year works out and eats right. That is wonderful, wonderful news.
Me too.
Good for you, Russ. Good for you.
I feel like I'm attacking DMAC at this point, which I truthfully, like, that's not my point. But DMAC, would you go to an Avs game or a Nuggets game and not post a single thing on social media about it?
If I was an Avs player or a Nuggets player who was the top paid player on the team, I would take my phone and I would find the dumpster nearest me and I would insert phone in there. Then I would get a little walkie-talkie so I could call my wife and my kids. And I would never look at social media ever, 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 ever again. Period.
I'm with you on that. I wouldn't do it either. And listen, right, Rachel, I know you were trying not to play the age card, but I do think this is an age thing. When you said you record your entire life, like, that sounds miserable to me. I try to do those things, right, where it's like, hey, you take a video of some part of your day every day, and then you splice it together, the 1 second challenge or whatever those are. Yeah. I go like 3 days, and I forget that I'm supposed to take a video. Like, it's so not top of mind for me. It's just an age thing. I just, the memories are in the brain for me, not in my phone.
Well, and I think a lot of it, too, is, like, the opportunities that can come out of it. Like, I've had a lot of really cool things that have been able to come out of it because you're willing to post those types of things. And
but, Rachel, that's your job.
My job is this, though.
That's what you do. That's who you are. Russell
Wilson works out so that he can play football.
Right. But, like, I love your in the office, in the sports office, and I've been lucky enough to, have snippets of myself in there with you. And it's like on Friday night, it was wonderful to hang out. I thought it was great. And I love your videos. I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff, and I'm behind the scenes. But it's just kind of cool to see all that sort of stuff. You're not making $50 million as the quarterback of the Broncos.
But I know influencers who make so much more money than $50 million.
All right. Hey, is it a job or is it a toy? Are you serious? Is it a hobby or is it a profession, Russ? I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. And it's different being a journalist or really just being proud of your kid. Maybe you played in a 10U baseball tournament this weekend that kind of opened up and he hit a triple. I don't know. And you want, your 75 followers to see it. And that's the best way to communicate with your parents out of state. That is so much different than Russell Wilson, top to bottom. It's the priorities, man. It's the priorities. So good. You're working out. Stay focused. We're never going to get rid of it. He's just going to be, he can't stop it. He like Sean Payton said, he was wearing out Drew Brees. He is not going to stop that. He's giving, inspirational, statements in the huddle as the clock's going tick, 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 tick down. We know that from the athletic piece about him just using more time than he needs to. A lot of things have to be cleaned up. And if you just want to sink it to the bottom, James, and it's really all or nothing with Russ, fine. I like to win a game. If you're Russell Wilson.
Not me. 8-9 is not of any interest to me. Either be 3-14 or 12-5.
Well, welcome to purgatory, dude. Because listen, man, 8 games would be a 4-game win improvement. 4-game win improvement for Russell Wilson. That would be massive.
And it'd be the HOV lane to nowhere. Like
no kidding. And
8-9 is a disaster. 3-14 is not a disaster. You got a first-round pick next year. Draft Caleb Williams.
Hey, by the way, I gotta hand it to Sean Payton because he's trying to grease the skids for Caleb Williams by suggesting there should be a draft lottery, which there should be, and talking about how great Caleb Williams actually is. So I respect you, Sean. I respect Sean for figuring that out, because if things sink to the bottom of the ocean and they only win 7 games, you don't want to be out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes.
You guys, I love this show because we can go about like arguing about social media to just where we think the Broncos are going to end up. Like, you just never know where this show is going to go. But I do want to move on to the NFLPA survey that went on. Because honestly, after reading it, Mike Kliss did a good article on it. Things aren't as bad as they seem. The players wanted to get daycare. They wanted vitamins, and there's like a whole bunch of rules in the back. When you guys read that article, what kind of popped out in your mind? Because daycare for me was like the top one. Like, they wanted daycare to be available for the families, and that just kind of made me chuckle.
There's a lot of spoiled brats with Broncos players. There seriously are. That's what I say to that. Well, Rachel, you and I were out on the field for most of the season. Those players' families were treated first class all the way. Yeah. There's access to the players. There's access in the tunnels. There's private rooms for them to be at. It's really, really nice what they do. The food for the Broncos, are you kidding me? The food is freaking amazing. It's like restaurant quality. And the cooks and the people behind the scenes at UC Health Training Center should be insulted. It was insulting. The Broncos have had a lot of issues on the field. They're constrained in the locker room because of the physical nature of the building itself, but they just redid the locker room. It is better, and they redid the locker, which was completely unnecessary at Empower Field. No, those grades, we're just lucky enough to sort of see stuff behind the scenes. Those grades were ridiculous, and we got a bunch of spoiled brats who answered that survey.
No, I'm right there with you. So I think my two takeaways were, one, they're spoiled. And two, I think it's a sign of how unbelievably ridiculous in terms of nice the facilities are in college football. Because if you're coming from Alabama,
right,
you're going to go to Dove Valley and go, what is this dump? Right? Like,
right.
I think that's part of what's happening here. So,
right.
Yeah, they should be offended, the people that are down there. I mean, we all know people that are in that building, and I talked to some of them about the food that they get and can eat, and they go in right where the players are, and it's ridiculous. So I didn't take that survey as, oh my gosh, this is a big thing. The more I dove into it, the more I thought about it. I really did. And my takeaway was, man, these guys are spoiled. You know what they are? They're the same kind of guys who can't imagine playing back-to-back nights in the NBA. Oh my God, when you have to stay at the Ritz-Carlton and fly charter. Oh.
All right, we're going to talk about load management, because I know D-Mac's got some good quotes coming from Michael Malone.
Listen, let me tell you this. If we want to talk about lousy facilities, I can show you legitimate lousy facilities for the Nuggets and the Avalanche. I mean, people would – listen, the Nuggets facility is not that great. But the only thing the Nuggets players should be happy about is they don't play for the Avalanche. It is – I mean, it is cool that my kid who played for Arapahoe hockey a couple of times a year would come onto the ice or off the ice as soon as the Avalanche would be either on or off. And yeah, I have enjoyed that over the years. But to be fair, as I've been in that locker room so many times over at Family Sports, it is a freaking humiliating embarrassment that any team, never mind the Stanley Cup champions, has to deal with that crap. You guys, if you haven't been in there, you would be stunned. I mean, literally stunned how awful it is for the Avalanche over there. I mean, and they have redone the facility in terms of Ball Arena, and their locker room facilities at Ball Arena are great. Top notch, nothing to complain about. It's brand new. It's great. But they spend half their time over at Family Sports. And the Nuggets facility, did you see it? They had to bring out buckets the other day because pipes were leaking. And I was over there yesterday, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But that is subpar for an NBA team. I mean, really, seriously subpar.
Yeah, no, it is. It's one court, right? So that limits what they can do. Their weight room, you'll see a bigger weight room when you go on a cruise ship. I mean, it's laughable. And, I mean, imagine if at Broncos training camp, we all got down there, and before the Broncos came out to practice, there was a bunch of 40-year-old dudes out there playing flag football in their league. I mean, it's preposterous. Yep. But yeah, those facilities are a joke. D-Mac, I'm happy you came around on the fact that the Stanley Cup champ shouldn't practice in a place that has a laser tag.
Listen, I like it, but I do like it for other reasons, though. Ultimately, yes, it's an embarrassment, yes. But the fact that just fans can go down and see the Avalanche and be that up close and personal is one of the cooler things. But at the end of the day, no, of course, and it's got nothing to do with laser tag. When the Avalanche open up theoretically a new facility, there should be common space for the general public to actually use good chunks of the facility, like it's a complete training center. Otherwise, it would be a complete waste unless the rink was literally attached to the building as it is in Edmonton. Their practice rink inside of Rogers Center is part of like everything. It's really, really amazing. In fact, they have 3 sheets of ice in there, but it's also shared ice between a minor league team and a college team. And I think even there, the public can use it sometimes. So let's be clear. I'm for a brand new facility that's exclusive for the Avalanche that they can use, but I'm also for the public enjoying and being able to use facilities built by these teams. I mean, I think you can have both things at the same time. So it's not about laser tag, James. It's about the facility itself. I hope the new facility does have laser tag, but I hope it's much more convenient and spacious and nicer for the players who well deserve it. But if it's a big building and there's laser tag on the other side because the fans can come in and see the Avalanche practice for free, which I hope they will in the future, it's no big deal if there's a birthday party or two.
Hey, Troy says laser tag is childcare, so maybe the Broncos and the Avs just need to see a little bit.
But let me tell you this. James is right about something else. Really right about this. The facilities at CU, better than all of it. What Deion Sanders has is better than all of the pro teams here. Rockies are pretty good too, though. The Rockies facility at Coors Field is pretty damn nice. Like, if you want to just talk about something cool with the Rockies, not only is their clubhouse just, I mean, freaking gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. They actually have a bar, a sports bar just for the families for post-game interactions.
Well, and that certainly has led to a lot of success.
Oh, okay, fine. So, all right, James, then keep them with laser tag in the crap hole, facility at Family Sports.
I think there's a happy medium. I think the Rockies, it's Shangri-La down in Scottsdale. They go down there and they hang out for 6 weeks and they lose a couple of key players playing games that they don't need to play. Spring training is a vestige of the past that needs to be done away with. They could work out for a week and show up and play the regular season. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, it's something that used to make sense when Babe Ruth would spend all offseason drinking beers and eating hot dogs, and he had to go sweat it out in Florida for a month and a half. Now it's just stupid. And now who knows how long Brendan Rodgers is going to be out. All of it is a waste of time.
I actually agree with James on this. In fact, going on right now is the World Baseball Classic, and they're playing really competitive games around the world. Shohei Ohtani just hit 2 3-run homers last night. Looked awesome. My son plays college baseball. He started his season in mid-January in Northern California. You're right about that. You don't need this much time. Spring training is ridiculous. The facility for the Rockies, though, down there in Scottsdale is freaking unbelievable. It's beautiful. Is the nicest, and they share it with the Diamondbacks, but each has their own amazing side of it. But you could be more creative. You should get Major League Baseball going in March. You should. And so that you could end it more reasonably in October. So, a time where the weather's even better. You could easily do that. We could have Major League games at Coors Field right now, today. The weather is just fine and the field's in great shape. It's a fair point, James, about how they actually run the season. You don't need the length of time that they have. You're right about that.
All right. Jake just said the Rockies batting cages can simulate any lighting condition at any ballpark at the click of a finger underneath their
they're awesome.
What?
Yeah, they've done a great job.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. The rooftop is great. McGregor Square is great. The field is great, and that's an old ballpark. Yeah. Like a Power Field needs to be just leveled to the ground, basically. They're doing all these improvements, but it's just, talk about trying to just polish a turd on that one. But Coors Field is amazing. It is. Scottsdale is amazing. The only thing that's not amazing is the commitment to the players and the philosophy to have a winning baseball team.
No, you're right, though. But the Montforts don't get enough credit for what they've done with Coors Field and how they've modernized it along the way. Yep. It's the third oldest ballpark in the National League, behind only Wrigley Field and Dodger Stadium. So
never know it.
Wow.
And let me challenge the Montforts on one thing, because I was downtown near the ballpark just yesterday. Okay, we need, in my opinion, to have a stronger commitment to helping out our communities. What we have going on with the homeless situation in Denver right now is sad. I'm not upset or angry at anybody. I'm just sad about it. And I just think it's inherent upon our wealthiest neighbors to shoulder the biggest burden in terms of improving the environment around the ballpark. It is remarkable to come from such a magnificent facility and all those new buildings down there to see what else is going on in downtown Denver. So I would challenge all of our billionaire owners to do more in our community to help out the people that really need that help. And I'll just leave it there. But it's remarkable if you take right from Coors Field, just walk a couple blocks around it and just see what you see down there. And I think we could all probably be doing better.
Well, I'm with you, and in all honesty, D-Mac, they have a business interest in doing that too, right? Like if you can't walk a couple blocks from Coors Field without it, being not what it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, at some point, people are going to stop coming to the ballpark as much, and at certain, the night games and things like that. So, listen, I'm with you. They should do it anyway. But if they just want to put on their business hat, it makes good business sense to do that too.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about shoving people into the shadows and under different bridges that we just can't see. I'm talking about doing the right things to just improve mental health, rehab, and recovery in the areas that need that help. And that would be the biggest benefit they could do. Also, I think it's inherent on all teams, if you're having a city arena, an area, to uplift the community with your sport. More baseball fields, turf fields that can be used by lower income families, hockey rinks that make skating accessible for everybody, and certainly better basketball courts. These are our major teams. I think the Broncos have been remarkable with their community basis, but I encourage all these billionaires just to do more.
It's funny you mention that because the Rockies, they used to do this thing when they would sign someone to a new contract, a big contract, they would carve out a piece of it to build a facility somewhere, a baseball field somewhere in the city. So like out in Lakewood, we played at Kurt Manwaring Field. Yeah. There's a Larry Walker Field. There's all sorts of these things.
Yeah, but have you ever noticed where those fields are?
Well, there's one that's right down by Gold Crown, down on First and Harlan. They just don't do it anymore.
I know what you're talking about. The vast majority are out in the suburbs, okay? And that was a long time ago.
Long time ago. They don't do it anymore.
And those fields, and I've played on them. I've seen them, James. For the most part, they're run down, and they're really not all that special.
The Rockies just sort of roll in, play the season, take their money, and then they're out of here. Like you don't see a lot of Rockies in the community, right? Like the Broncos are all over it.
You don't.
The Nuggets are pretty good about it. The late great Irv Brown used to do a bunch of their stuff with Irvin Johnson and things like that. Like you just do not see the Rockies in the community. And if they do, and they're anonymous donors, my apologies. But in terms of being out there and being visible, you just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, Jake does a wonderful job on the back end. Of course, they built 20 fields when they hosted the ASG, and I think they were in their suburbs, but don't want them to be incorrect. So just a little clarification on what you guys were talking about. I can honestly say I have no idea where any of these baseball fields are. I would love to see more community outreach from all of our teams. The Broncos do a wonderful job with it, and I definitely think they are the leaders out of the professional sports here. But let's move on to the Avalanche because Jared Bednar was pissed off yesterday. D-Mac, have you ever seen him so mad?
Occasionally, but very rarely have I seen him rip the best players on the team, and Mikko Rantanen specifically by name. That was unusual. The Avs have a real identity crisis. They win 6 games in a row, and they look awesome. And their last 3 games, where you could get 6 points, they got 1. They gave up 7 goals in back-to-back games for the first time since 1990. They weren't even the Avalanche. They were the Nordiques. And yesterday, with Georgiev reeling from being yanked on 5 goals and 19 shots against Dallas, he played really, really well. Until 2.5 minutes left in the game, your best player turns the puck over. It leads to an easy shot in front of the net to a player who wasn't even covered. They didn't lay a finger on him. And then in overtime, they didn't touch the puck. They did not touch the puck for a minute and a half. And they had a bad change that led to a breakaway goal. I talked to Georgiev afterwards, and I found a very frustrated player, guys. Very, very frustrated. And I'm not saying people and teammates dislike him. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't know who Georgiev's friends are right now. And this team is a little rudderless. And I'm glad Bednar called out his top lines. He should have called out his top lines. And it's debatable if he should have benched Mikko Rantanen. But Mikko Rantanen, who has 41 goals, does not give you, putting him on the bench does not give you the best chance to win. We'll see how they bounce back with 3 games at home this week and a lot of hockey to go. They have a very soft strength of schedule remaining for the rest of the year. They should be able to pile up the points. They should be able to make the playoffs, and they should be able to make a run. But it's concerning what cracks are there right now. That's for sure.
I thought it felt very calculated, not in a bad way, but very calculated by Jared Bednar. So it reminded me of, it's the old video of Emmett Smith talking about Jimmy Johnson grabbing him on the way out to the practice field and saying, hey, just so you know, Emmett, I am going to rip into you today at practice. He's like, why? I didn't do anything. It's like, listen, if everybody else sees me ripping into you, they'll know, I can't get away with anything. I think it felt calculated. I think it was sending a message of, hey, if he's going to go after Mikko, we all better mind our P's and Q's.
Maybe, but if you look at some advanced analytics, in terms of expected goal value, Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon were the 2 worst players on the ice, if you want to nerd out on hockey stuff. So, James, I just don't think that's the way Bednar is, man. I think he's pretty honest. I don't think he's calculated like that. It doesn't happen that often. And it's not like Michael Malone. I'm telling you, it's not like that. I think Malone may be calculated with some of his things, but he hasn't said a critical word about anybody forever.
Malone's just a hothead who doesn't think about the ramifications of what he says. Like, hey, my team quit after game 2 in Phoenix. All right, well, Suns in 4 guy is going to be right after that. So I give Bednar more credit. I mean, the fact that he's gotten his team where he got him last year, to me, I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt on some of that stuff, and I think he was being calculated. I hear what you're saying, but I think he was using it to send a message to everybody else.
Listen, man, you can read about it at denversports.com. You want to see dysfunction. Look at the Avs goalie situation. We have a guy out there whose pads don't match his uniform. I mean, it's like how did it get here? And I was talking to Keith Kincaid in the pathetic locker room over at Family Sports on Friday. He didn't expect to even be playing. He wasn't supposed to be playing because Georgiev was supposed to just go back-to-back games. That was the plan. Nobody was ever supposed to see those horrific pads. So with Frankie, we don't know when he's coming back. Justus Annunen was terrible, flat out bad. Georgiev gets pulled, and there we go. We have the eyesore of Keith Kincaid in his Bruins pads playing for the Avalanche. And it was a moment of like, wait a second, how did we get here? I mean, Don't forget we also have Johansson up with the Eagles that he got a shot, and he's not really working out. Guys, it is a little weird. I'm telling you right now, it's a little weird with what's going on, and I'm not blaming Georgiev, but I mean, in the last 10 games, he has allowed 5 goals 3 times. I mean, for a guy who's had a really, really good year, it hasn't been perfect. And now you have your top line screwing up in a game that you really needed, and you blew a chance for 2 points with 2.5 minutes to go because Nathan MacKinnon, of all guys, who's been amazing, turned the puck over behind his own net. Dude, what the hell's going on?
The Avs season feels kind of like a basketball team that uses all their energy to come back from 25 points down. They get back in the game, and then they're just totally out of gas for like the last 3 minutes, and they lose it at the buzzer. That's how it feels.
To back you up, Bednar last night said we were fried. He said it. We were fried.
That's what they look like.
Yep.
How hot is the water for Mikko Rantanen right now with him talking all the smack to the refs and getting in trouble?
It's hard to be critical of Mikko Rantanen because when everybody was hurt, he was the one player who is helping him out. He's got 41 goals on the season. He's arguably a top 5 player in the world, maybe top 10, okay? But he's that good. But yeah, you can't do dumb things. I mean, I couldn't believe it being at the game yesterday, and the Avs have to start down 5-on-3. They start down 2 players to start the third. I mean, that is just time that you cannot score. That's time you're just holding on for dear life. And then there was another penalty. Everything was just like trying to hang on yesterday instead of scoring that 1 goal. And you guys do realize the go-ahead goal for the Avalanche was scored by Dennis Malgin, who's shorter than me, who's playing on the 4th line now. I'm not saying that's bad. In fact, that's a great thing that you get contributions that low. Literally, he's short. But come on. Where's that 1 more goal? Where's Cale Makar? Where's Valerie Nichushkin? Where are they when you need one more stinking goal in the third period to win that game? Where was it?
If you went up to Georgetown, went out on that lake where they let cars drive when it's frozen,
Yes.
took out your auger, drilled a hole in it, and
Nice.
tested the water, that's how hot it is for Mikko Rantanen. It ain't hot at all. It's just not. He's having a one of the best offensive seasons in Avalanche history. I don't think he's in any hot water whatsoever.
Okay, that's great job by connecting it back to Colorado, James. I'll give you some credit there. John Morant is in a lot of hot water. Obviously, we don't cover the Grizzlies, but that happened, we believe, back here in Denver at like 3 a.m. But let's move on to the Nuggets and talk about their game on Friday night. It was a really good one, but we should be experiencing, and I actually got this off of somebody who commented on DMAC's tweet because you posted the video of Michael Malone talking about essentially load management is coming, but it's bench experience management, not load experience, James. So bench experience, how do you feel about that phrasing?
It's good semantics on the part of Michael Malone. Look, I think this is a team that needs to be thinking about winning an NBA championship, and their chances of winning the title are much, much, much better if they have home court all the way through. So until you're so far behind Milwaukee or Boston that you can't reasonably catch them, then you need to be trying to win every game you can. You just need to. The West is over. They've captured the West. But it's, I wrote about it today at denversports.com. Like, everybody associated with this team, from the fans to the coaches and the players to the people who cover them, everybody just needs to sort of grow up and realize, hey, this is what it's like when you're a contender. And contenders are looking ahead and looking down the road and saying, how do we catch Boston? How do we catch Milwaukee? Because if they end up having to play game 1 and game 2 on the road of the NBA Finals because they decided to make sure Christian Brown got some minutes at Minnesota or something, that would be a waste. If they waste away a chance to win a title because they're doing load management in March, I'll be upset, and so should everybody else in Nuggets Nation.
Friday night was one of their best games, especially their best fourth quarter of the year, in front of a huge crowd.
It was awesome.
And by the way, they were 2 for 14 from 3 in the first half. And they were right there in this game. And Malone, rightfully so, told the guys, keep doing what you're doing. And they did. And Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., man, oh man, that's what you have when you have 2 max contract guys playing like it. And that's what pushed them to victory. The Grizzlies are dying a very quick death, period. They are a train wreck on all fronts, and they are not a serious contender. And they don't have the heart or experience to compete with a team like the Nuggets. So forget about them. The Suns are worrisome. Let's hope we don't have to face this. That's going to be a problem because you can see what they are with Kevin Durant. But I was laughing when I was alongside of Michael Malone yesterday, James, and he started talking. I just think of you. I'm not going to lie. And because you heard his quotes, right?
Yeah. I heard them.
I mean, this is the deal here. They are not going to go to extraordinary lengths in order to just get first place overall. But let me tell you this about the practice. You want to talk about a yin and yang situation. So I'm in that Avs locker room last night, man. It is tense. It is tense again. You can feel it. You can feel the grind. I'm over at the Nuggets practice, guys. That is a loose crew, man. I mean, these guys have confidence for days, well-earned confidence. They are not burned out. They really love being around each other. And I'm not sitting there wondering, does this guy like that guy? Like, does anybody talk to Georgie? I really have no idea. These guys are each other's best friends on the Nuggets. There is no divisive personality or element with that team. So I'm just going to roll with the coach of the year, and he's going to win the coach of the year as they try to figure out these last 18 games. And they probably, even if they load manage, they probably at the worst go 10-8. In their last 18 games. I mean, that is like at the absolute worst as they have a 5-game road trip to the East Coast. That is at the worst. Most likely it's 12-6 or 13-5.
10-8, yeah, there's nothing like rolling into the playoffs like a 1978 Chevette. I mean, good grief. 10-8?
I said that's the worst. That's the worst.
I'm with you and I'm with Michael Malone on don't go to extreme lengths to try to win these games. I don't think Jokic should be playing 42 minutes or something like that. But there's a difference between that and, hey, we're playing on back-to-back nights and we're just going to play our guys like we always do. I don't think that's extraordinary lengths. I don't. I think it's a sign of the times that we've gotten to the point where asking a – you're talking about – go back to the beginning of the show. Russell Wilson, oh, God, a professional athlete. He's working out, making $50 million a year. All these max contract guys, all these professional basketball players, asking them to play back-to-back nights is just not too much. It's not. Go have the best record in the NBA.
James, you might not have to worry about it. They only have a couple of back-to-back games left in the entire season, by the way, and one of them being in the final 2 games. And you're certainly not going to be critical of them. I mean, unless the last game of the year is for first.
Right.
Here we go. James will get his claws out if the last game of the year. But you should feel good because Milwaukee and Boston will be doing the exact same thing. I mean, they'll be doing the exact same thing. The only difference with those two is they may be competing for who's top in the East. That might be competitive all the way down to the wire. And for the Nuggets, they're going to wrap up the West. Gosh, I think they're going to wrap up the West in the next maybe like 8 or 9 games. I don't think it's close.
They unofficially wrapped it up on Friday, but
yeah.
You're telling me that if they go into the back-to-back at the end and they're right there with the chance to get home court advantage throughout the playoffs, you're fine with a load management night?
Let's see how it goes. It depends.
On what?
Right. Good question, Rachel.
What's that?
On what? What does it depend on? The answer should be
well,
no.
A lot of it depends on what it takes to actually win. For example, the last game of the year last year, the Lakers had given up on the season and LeBron had tapped out. The Nuggets were going into the playoffs, and it just didn't matter, and so they didn't play anybody. They actually blew a big lead, and Mac McClung had like the most amazing game ever. In fact, the leading scorer of that game for the Nuggets was Marcus Howard. You remember 0-0? I doubt it. But Marcus Howard was their star. Just to go show you how good guys are in the NBA, guys you never heard of can actually legitimately compete in the NBA. So it all sort of depends on who they're playing and what it's all about. I mean, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, but they will also get like a solid week off because of the play-ins before they're going to play their first playoff game too.
Yeah, hey, listen, Jamal Murray likes playing basketball. Nikola Jokic likes playing basketball. These guys aren't asking for time off. You guys realize that, right? This has nothing to do with the players asking for time off. Zero.
Yeah.
They're all good to play.
Then play.
Well, they may, James. Just, or they may not. I mean, those would be, hey, right now, do you see what's going on? They're trying to figure out what they have in Reggie Jackson. So Christian Brown is taking a backseat. I mean, that sucks for Christian Brown. Doesn't mean they don't like Christian Brown, but they're in such an advantageous situation. They don't have to be desperate. Meanwhile, the Avs, did you see what the Avs did? They shifted all of their lines. They shifted all their lines up. They're in total desperation mode. How do you like that? Would you rather be in that situation or where the Nuggets are right now?
Well, I'd obviously rather be where the Nuggets are, but the Nuggets need to figure out by the end of the year, I would be using those last few games to figure out, hey, what's my rotation in the playoffs? Because it ain't 10 guys, right? It's 8. And how are the minutes going to go? And I mean, Michael Malone, he paints by numbers every single night and uses the exact same time to put guys in and out and never changes anything. He's got to get that figured out because the postseason is going to be different.
Just used Aaron Gordon for the first time on Friday night as the 5 in a stagger that he had never used before. Never. So calm down with he does everything at the same time. It's just not
He
true.
does.
It's not true, James. You
can set your watch by when Jokic is coming back in.
Jokic is different. Jokic is under a very certain specific sort of here. You can predict Jokic. You can with Jokic. But that's it. That's it. One guy, James. One.
But the only reason AG went in was also because of injuries, because they literally had no one else. So
yeah, but listen, if Thomas Bryant really doesn't work out, then he'll be sitting on the bench too. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to figure things out. He'll play tonight, I think. I think he rolled his ankle slightly. I like Thomas Bryant. He's a nice guy and everything from the times that I've talked to him a couple times. But he is really struggling right now. And Reggie Jackson isn't looking good either. So, I mean, we'll figure it out. But listen, it's Bruce Brown who's freaking amazing. off the bench. And then Vlatko Čančar, still have troubles with that, has been fantastic. He's going to be in the rotation. And then we'll see with what they do at the 5. I'm not quite sure. I think Thomas Bryant will get a shot at it, but they still have Jeff Green, who can play the 4 when AG plays the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Green's block the other night
Awesome.
was one of the best plays of the season. It was incredible. And I've been hard on Jeff Green, and I give Michael Malone a hard time because he loves Jeff Green. He keeps playing Jeff Green. That was it really was an incredible play. So if you want to put Jeff Green in the rotation, I'm fine with that.
That happened in the first quarter. The second quarter was a disaster. Malone showed that highlight at halftime, and he said, there are winning plays, and that was one of them right there, and highlighted Jeff Green. Okay? But then again, he sucks as a coach, so let's ignore how they played in the second half.
And everybody, MPJ and Jamal both pointed out Jeff Green's age, too. So there we go.
Yeah, he's not that old, by the way. I mean, I'm laughing.
He's old for a basketball player.
How old was Jeff Green? 34? 35, maybe?
35.
He's played for isn't he the one that's played for 13 teams?
No, that's Ish. That's Ish Smith.
Oh, that's right.
But he's 36.
He's 30. I mean, Jeff Green's played for a lot of teams, too. But
Sure.
but Ish is kind of, Ish is ridiculous.
All right, we are approaching on an hour, so I really quickly want to get to our prop shop. They're going to be taking on the Toronto Raptors tonight, the Denver Nuggets. So who are you guys taking tonight?
Well, I'll take a team that's 29-4 at home in every single and don't forget, they had the entire weekend off. Jamal Murray had so much time he flew, I assume a private flight. He does make $30 million a year. He flew to watch the John Jones fight, and I talked to him yesterday. He was back at practice just fine. So they've rested, they're relaxed. They are going to obliterate Toronto tonight.
But wait, are you mad at him for posting about being at the UFC fight?
No, have fun. Fine by me.
Okay, I'm feeling a little double standard here because he makes what, $30
Yeah.
a year? Russell Wilson makes 50, but he's not allowed to post on it.
He can do whatever he wants. Yeah, he didn't show his kids on the Instagram line, did he?
Because he doesn't have any kids. Okay.
All right.
See, I love the Nuggets tonight too. D-Mac's 100% right. They're gonna roll tonight.
6.5 point spread.
Take
Taking
it. Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy, and another triple-double for Jokic. This is a rested team playing great at home. This is bad news for Toronto.
Yep, I'm with you. Alrighty, everybody. That is going to do it for today's episode of Coffee Break. As always, we appreciate your guys' comments and hanging out with us on this Monday, not Sunday morning. We will see you guys tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. for another episode. Have a wonderful Monday, like I said, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.